Yes.
You say yes. Yes. You
Okay.
can see her tootsies.
I think she has sandals.
Yeah, she does. She has sandals on. They're lovely. I think
Okay.
they're gladiator style. If you
Yeah,
know.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
They're not that
Let's see.
attractive, but
Hey, did Christopher Columbus visit the Americas more than once?
yes.
Dum. Yes, he did. Subtract 2 points if answered incorrectly. Yes, he went 4 times, according to this little card.
Oh, yeah. He actually went to India first time, so.
Yeah. Oh, this is a good one, Nancy. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Do men have thicker skin than women?
Yeah.
Yes, men's skin
They
contains
wrinkle
more
less.
collagen and is 20 to 25% thicker than women's. Very good. Does air consist mostly of nitrogen?
H2.
Oh,
What? Does air?
air consists mostly of nitrogen. Air.
No.
Yes. 78% nitrogen and 21% oxygen.
Oh, wait, I was thinking of water.
Yeah. H2O.
I know. Did
Yeah.
you hear me say that out loud?
Yeah, I did hear you say that. Saw you thinking. Does giga mean 1 million?
Gigabyte?
Mm-hmm. A gigabyte. A gig of this, a gig of that.
No.
It's a billion. You're right. No, that is correct. So it is.
Oh, there's that little tiny bell.
That tiny bell.
That tiny bell that says, yeah, good job, lady.
Yeah, you should.
A little bit.
You should probably,
a little bit of a good job.
You should probably work harder on that.
You should probably, yeah. Yeah.
You know what we need? We need the music, the countdown music, the dun dun.
Oh yes! Oh my goodness! Of course.
Because she thinks a lot. It takes.
I do think a lot. I think a lot.
She's a thinker. That one. All right, let's try this.
That one.
Fingernails and toenails grow at the same speed. We've covered this before.
I haven't covered it.
You haven't? Well, what do you think?
I would think that they grow at the same speed. I would think they do grow at a similar speed.
No.
Oh.
Fingernails grow almost 3 times faster than toenails. That makes sense. Yeah, because pedicure versus manicure. Come on, those are basics. Come on.
See, I don't get the manicure, and I rarely get a pedicure.
Well,
so
giddy up, girlfriend.
I'm not privy to that information.
You got no reason not to now. Is oxygen the lightest element?
Should know this. No.
Hydrogen. Yeah, you're right. No, hydrogen. We're correct on that. Okay. Is the brain called thorax in Latin?
Thorax, no.
That's right. Thorax is the chest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is golf an Olympic sport?
No.
It is.
Oh, God.
We're going to subtract 2 points.
Thank you.
All right. Are camels with one
Golf is an Olympic sport?
Yes, that's a yes. That's a hard yes. Yes.
I remember that.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, breakdancing is now an Olympic sport.
That's true.
Come on.
Well, everybody remembers that lady.
Right. Are camels with one hump called dromedaries?
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are. Very good, Nancy. Nancy, if you drop a rock and a feather on the moon at the same time, will they land at the same time? Where'd you go? Did you hear that? You want me to say it again? If you drop a rock and a feather
the internet
on the moon
stable
at the same time, will they land at the same time?
Yes. Well, they won't land, but yes. But
no.
Well, they won't land, but okay, yes.
Oh, wait. No, number 2. If you drop a rock and a feather, yes, they will land at the same time on the moon.
Yeah.
Okay. Does Goofy wear suspenders?
Yes, he does.
No, he doesn't. That's Pluto.
Oh, Oh,
I think Pluto's got suspenders. Goofy doesn't even have pants on. Does Goofy have pants on? He only
Goofy
wears
has pants on. Aren't
No,
they
I think
blue?
he just wears a shirt, doesn't he?
What?
Goofy doesn't
He
wear
wears
pants.
pants. Yes, he
A
does.
lot of them don't wear pants.
Tammy!
No, a lot of them don't wear pants. Pooh Bear
Who
doesn't wear
wear
pants.
pants?
Pooh Bear. Pooh Bear just wears a shirt.
Well, in Disneyland, I believe everybody wears pants.
Do you? Do you?
Like,
I don't know.
I
Is that
think
true?
so.
Does everybody wear pants in Disneyland? I
I
don't know.
know. That's a question, isn't it? That is a loaded question.
Is
See,
it
blue. I said they were blue.
He does have pants. All right.
And they're
What about
blue.
Pluto? Does Pluto have pants?
Yeah, Pluto. I think he has
hold
red
please.
pants.
I think Pluto has suspenders. So doesn't Pluto have suspenders? I think we were talking.
Mm.
But if you don't have pants, you got nothing to put your suspenders on. So there's that.
Well,
Mickey
yeah.
Mouse. Does Mickey Mouse have?
Mickey Mouse has red pants with suspenders.
Pluto has no
Pluty
pants.
doesn't have any pants.
Well, no, he's just got
or
a collar.
shirt. Or a
He's
shirt.
just he's a dog. He just has a collar. Well, who was
well,
the other one we were just talking about? Winnie the Pooh. I think Winnie the Pooh is the guy in just.
Winnie the Pooh does not have pants.
I don't think he does. No, I think Winnie the Pooh
Nope.
just has no. I think Winnie Pooh just has a shirt, no pants. I don't know why. Why did they think of that? I don't know.
And how did they decide one animal would
Should have pants and one animal should
not
have a shirt.
pants?
Well,
And is Goofy a dog? It's a dog, right? It's
Goofy is a
weird-looking
dog, but he's fully clothed. I mean, he has the whole 9
he's
yards.
fully
Goofy does.
clothed.
But don't you think if they got a tail, the
Goofy's
pants
not a
would-
dog.
Isn't
What's
what is
Goofy? What is he?
He's a dog.
So this was apparently pretty recent. The voice
What?
actor behind Goofy, named Bill Farmer, revealed that he's not a dog or a cow. He just belongs to the canine species.
Wow.
What else belongs to the canine
Wow.
species that's not a dog besides Goofy? Anybody? I don't know.
I don't know. He's
I
not a
have
dog,
some.
though.
I have some food facts for you. Did you know?
Okay. All right. Go
we at
for
that
it,
point?
Nancy.
Okay.
Is this a yes or a no?
Or do we want to talk more about pants and
Well,
Disneyland?
animals in pants, yeah. Of
Okay.
course.
Did you know
What?
that rhubarb can be heard growing?
What?
Yeah.
What?
It grows an inch a day and you can hear it go creak.
Really? I used to think
Mm-hmm.
I could hear my kids growing. But the rhubarb thing,
I
have you
know.
ever eaten rhubarb?
Oh, I love rhubarb pie.
You do?
More than life itself. Yes, I do.
Oh, wow.
I
Did you ever-
love rhubarb. It's tart. It's really tart. Yeah, you still put a lot of sugar in it, but it's so good.
Did you ever grow rhubarb in a garden?
No,
My
no.
grandma used to grow it. You ever seen it? It's like stalks.
Yeah,
It's like
big
celery.
stalks.
Yeah,
like
and then
celery,
it's like
yeah.
big leafy things on
It
there.
needs a lot of sugar. Do you think,
Does
here's a
need lot of
question,
sugar.
Tammy, yes or no? Is
Yeah.
white chocolate chocolate?
Well, yes, it's just white. Apparently it's not because you're asking the question though. What is it?
It isn't chocolate.
What is it? Just sugar?
It's made from sugar, milk products, cocoa butter, but not the cocoa plant, vanilla and stuff. But yeah, it doesn't actually have chocolate in it.
I
Yeah.
do not. Well,
Well, Chad
Matt's
has something to
disagreeing.
say.
What's Chad got to
Oh,
say? Chad's
boy.
calling BS on your BS, Nancy. What you
Okay.
got for us, Chad?
Oh, bravo. Another brave soul trying to cancel white chocolate from the chocolate family tree. Yes, technically speaking, white chocolate lacks cocoa solids, the actual chocolatey part, so purists insist it's a fraud. But guess what? It's made from cocoa butter, which comes from the cacao bean, so it's like the distant cousin nobody likes to admit is still at the reunion. Score
That's
6-10.
Okay, I'll take it.
All right, 6 out of
And-
10. You were close. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and if you want to party up, nutmeg can be a hallucinogen.
Excellent.
Yeah, excellent.
Excellent, man.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Dude, so it contains myristicin, a natural compound, can cause mind-altering effects if consumed in large quantities. Watch your nutmeg, people.
You watch your nutmeg, man.
You watch your nutmeg.
I'm not a big nutmeg fan. My daughter loves nutmeg, but
I
I'm
like
not
nutmeg. but I like it, but a dab will do you, I say.
A dab will do you.
A dab will do you.
Absolutely. Hey, Nancy, are the flags of both Denmark and Switzerland, your favorite country now we're talking, red with the white cross?
Yeah.
They are. Both of them are. Yes.
Yeah.
That is a true statement, young lady.
I got that one right.
You did. I'm not subtracting from that. I'm not subtracting at all.
What color is farm raised salmon? What color is farm raised salmon?
What color is it? Well, it should be pink, but it's probably not. It's probably like a red. I don't know. What color is farm raised?
Gray.
White. Yeah,
Whitish gray.
Yeah,
because
I don't like
the pink. You know where the pink comes from?
the ocean.
Where it lives, the critters it eats makes it pink.
Right.
But if it's farm raised, it doesn't eat those critters.
Same
it eats the gross muck they feed it.
I know, and it's gross. I don't like.
It's disgusting, but I do love the taste of it.
Do the farm raised? I don't get farm raised fish.
Yeah, I gotta tell you,
wild caught Alaskan is what I get.
Okay,
if I can find it.
Tam, I can't. I tried the wild caught situation. It's dry.
Oh,
it's
you got the wrong one,
juicy.
Girl. Are you using salmon? Wild caught salmon?
Wild caught salmon. I can't. I hate it. It's dark red. It's dry. It's gross.
Oh, it's really good. It's
what kind
flavorful. What wild caught Alaskan salmon?
I know. I don't know. I'll have to
try it again.
Well, I get wild caught. Now, I thought it was Alaskan salmon, but maybe it's not. I don't know.
Look. I mean, Well, go to Alaska and get it. Okay, that's what I recommend. Go to Alaska. Fish one of those bad boys out of the stream. Cut that sucker up and have yourself a little. It's very tasty. Is it considered good manners to slurp when you're eating soup in China?
Well, I'm gonna say yes.
It is. Yes, it is. Good one. Was James Dean the actor's real name?
Jane what?
James Dean. Was that his real name?
Oh, I doubt it.
Yes, it was.
Oh, what a cool name.
Subtract 2 points. Oh, that's a math problem. I won't even do that to you. Can elephants jump?
Thank you.
No,
they can't jump.
That's correct. Elephants cannot jump.
Yeah,
Very good.
Thank you, Matt.
Okay, so I got to take off -3. You got some negatives going on here, but that's okay.
I know.
You've got some positives too.
Not too many.
Is Lazarus another name for the devil?
Yeah.
No. Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead. Subtract 3 points.
You're trying to just trick me, Tammy.
I am not, girl. I'm trying to find the easy ones.
I know,
Is Niagara Falls the world's highest waterfall?
No.
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 Tammy, we can work as a team.
I couldn't stop shaking my head. Niagara Falls has a maximum height of 188 feet, but Angel Falls in Venezuela has a drop of 2,648 feet. That's only word. You only lost 1 point on that one. Okay. Let's see. Does white always go first in chess?
Oh my goodness, I should know this.
Yes, you should. That's why I asked it.
Yes.
It does. You are correct. Yes, ma'am, it does.
I didn't know that, though.
I know. That's okay.
I know. I'm
Does
aware.
champagne have fewer this is one you can use. Does champagne have fewer calories than wine?
Yes.
It does. Yay.
Yay.
Are there 3 disciplines?
Where's my bell, Matt?
Wait, I don't know that bells. We need it. The Ironman competition. Are there 3 disciplines? We know this one.
Yes.
Yes, there are. Are there
that
a
was
total
the question?
of 42 dots on a pair of dice?
Yes.
Yes, there are. Can animals get asthma?
Yeah.
All right. Yay. Woo.
Yay.
Okay. With that happy music, that means it's time for us to skedaddle. We appreciate you guys listening in today. We will be back tomorrow. Until then, make good decisions.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. or forget extra diapers. And never give in to a meltdown. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never let them have too much screen time. And never bribe them for just one more bite. You say you'd never let them out in public without their hair brushed. Never, ever become a minivan mom. And you'd never give them your phone for a quiet dinner.
Calling boss work phone.
So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, no, it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Your hometown radio station since 1949. We are WRMN AM 1410, Elgin time, 4 o'clock.
This is WRMN News.
I'm Marky B reporting. We start with an Elgin man pleading guilty to predatory criminal sexual assault of a child. Kane County State's Attorney Jamie Mosser announced that Jose Molina Acevedo has agreed to a sentence of 12 years of imprisonment in the Illinois Department of Corrections in exchange for a guilty plea to the offense of predatory criminal sexual assault of a child. Assistant State's Attorney Morgan Wilkinson stated the following facts in court. Between the dates of January 1st of 2021 and May of 2023, the defendant sexually abused the victim, touching the victim who was under 13 under the clothing. In addition to the prison term, Molina Acevedo must register for life as a sexual offender in accordance with the Illinois Sexual Offender Registration Act and must serve at least 85% of the sentence. In other news, we have a jury duty scam warning that's out. Kane County Sheriff's Department has put this warning out. It's recently come to the attention of the Kane County Sheriff's Department that a phone scam is being conducted in the county. The scam is known as the jury duty scam, starting with a phone call from someone claiming to be from the sheriff's office or a Kane County court official. They will say you missed jury duty, even though you never got a jury duty notice. They may tell you there's a warrant out for your arrest, and the only way to cancel is to pay a fine. If you refuse, they may threaten you with jail, or they might ask for personal information like your social security number or date of birth to make the scam seem real or steal your identity. Scammers also might give you a fake sheriff's badge number and case number. With modern technology as it is today, some scammers even have the ability to spoof their number, making it appear as if the sheriff's office or local courts have called you. I'm Marky B, and this is the Talk of the Town.
Produced in Studio 14 by the River Media Network.
From the pages of the Elgin newspapers of 100 years ago today, these are the headlines brought to you by the Elgin History Museum.
I'm Nick Freeman, and here's what was happening 100 years ago today. Special feature. Wesley Berry, famous child movie star, is filming scenes for his new movie here in Elgin and provides this account. If you happen to see an old automobile of the vintage of 1909 this afternoon careening about the downtown streets of Elgin with a red-headed and freckled youth grabbing levers and trying to keep the darn thing going straight, and if you wondered who that little ding-busted reckless fool driver was, please don't worry any more about it, for it was only yours truly doing his stuff. You see, folks, we're making a big picture, my hometown, and I'm the young hero. The courier asked me if I would write a little about myself in the picture, so I'm just knocking out these few words, and I'll have more for you tomorrow. You see, my work is something like newspaper work anyway, for both the papers and the pictures are educational and entertaining. Well, I've got to get back to the wheel of that old bus and then have some night scenes taken, so I'll say so long for now.
Elgin 100 Years Ago is a presentation of the Elgin History Museum. Be sure to visit the museum located at 360 Park Street in Elgin, open Wednesday through Saturdays 11 to 4. You can also listen to Elgin 100 Years Ago at www.elginhistory.org.
This is Sarah Silver with your Fox Valley forecast. An ice jam flooding advisory is in effect from late this week for the listening area. This afternoon, sunny with a high near 48 and gusty winds up to 45 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear with a low around 31. Currently, it is 46 degrees with clear skies. I'm Sarah Silver on the Talk of the Town, WRMN.
Now's the time to shop limited-time doorbuster deals during Pro Savings Days at Lowe's. Save $50 on a Little Giant King Combo 6-foot ladder. Was $199, now $149. Plus, save $100 on a DeWalt XR 20-volt Power Stack 5-amp-hour battery. Was $199, now $99. Get these can't-miss deals now before they're gone. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Doorbusters valid 1/13 through 1/15. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
The new novel, titled DUI Jury Trial, is the true story of two lawyers who defend a truck driver who is charged with DUI. If he's convicted, this truck driver faces a lifetime disqualification of his commercial driver's license, which would prevent him from ever driving a truck again. This 3-year legal battle culminates in a courtroom showdown, which involves the testimony of a DUI expert witness. This book, DUI Jury Trial, is now available on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers. So we build specially adapted homes at Homes for Our Troops. And thanks to our donors and supporters, this life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free to these veterans. But we need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Hello, America, and good day to our friends around the world. This is a political talk show here on WRMN. My name is Dennis Sonar Green. I am broadcasting live from the Illinois Media School Be On Air O'Hare campus. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much for being a part of the show. Even you just sitting here listening and being just engaged mentally, that is enough to be engaged. I'm getting a lot of feedback where people are coming back and saying, wow, after I listened to the show, I've got a lot more to think about. Like, we're not expecting you to completely change your life or have an epiphany while you're sitting here listening to us. But what we do want is we want to make sure that you've got all the facts. That way you can go home and meditate it. You can take the show with you, even if it is those little nuggets of information. Because to be a good citizen, we have to be engaged. And to be engaged, we then have to know what is going on. Nobody jumps into Monopoly or Risk or anything else without knowing something about the game, or at least reading the rule book. So that's what we try to do here, and we do that with the help of executive producer extraordinaire Ben Demonium Boquest. Thank you, sir, for being here.
Hey, yes, let me put myself back in this box in the corner here.
Yeah, that box in the corner, but we are going to start to move some of the things around. We're working on a new layover for things, so stay tuned for that YouTube side to look for more things to come. Yes. If you want to jump into the show, today is Tech Tuesday, but we're going to get into a little bit of monetary, not necessarily Monetary Monday. We're going to talk about how tech can destroy $600 billion just out of nowhere, just shoo, here you go, disappear. How did that happen? Was it real money to begin with? We will discuss that today here on A Political Talk Show. Again, if you want to jump in, the studio line is 847-931-1410, and the text line, the best way to get a hold of us and to send out that information back and forth, including those links that you can send us. I get a lot of articles just where people text me or send me a Facebook message or any of these other email type of things, sonar@WRMN1410.com, and I'll get a link to an article and somebody's like, hey, what happened here? Especially with this one, DeepSeek is what we're going to talk about today. And I think that was the catalyst really to the entire kerfluffle, I think is what happened. I don't own stocks, so I don't know how bad it was for everybody. Yeah. Statistically, I think it's like 94% of all stocks are owned by only 10% of the world anyway. So, okay. Congratulations, rest of us that fight over our 6%.
Yep. You make a dollar, I make a dime.
Yeah, and I mean, on a Monetary Monday, we might get into where this $6 billion maybe hurt another billionaire, because to dodge taxes, billionaires don't take their money out; they borrow against their assets and then have to pay that money back. So if somebody was in Nvidia quite heavily and they lost some money, their assets aren't worth as much, and there might be some banks calling them up and saying, "Hey, we got to talk about some things." So speaking about talking about some things, you are listening to 1410 AM, the talk of the town. You can also be watching on the YouTube. I see you over there on the YouTube. Jump in the chat. Say hi. We had got some great callers yesterday when we were talking about the 14th Amendment, Benjamin. I think it was a really productive conversation. Listened back to it. We had some great points, some great exchanges back and forth. It was really the goal of the show.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, especially when you're talking about divisive, kind of contentious topics. And that's not what we're doing. We're not throwing it out there to get a reaction. And if we're doing the reaction, like a comment right here, kerfuffle by D. Clyde 50, one of my favorite words as well. But things are nuanced, Ben.
Yes, I mean, that's the way it is. That's why you don't give sweeping pardons. That's why you don't give blanket immunities. That's why you don't just do all of these things, because in a world where we play the, well, what if? Well, what about? I mean, why would you not bring at least something up? And I agree with JD Vance's principle, maybe not the execution of it. I believe the whole vetting process needs to be revised, but everybody does. There isn't anybody on the political side of the spectrum that agrees that immigration works the way that it should. For decades, the American people have been screaming about it. Not me. I've only been around for a little bit. So I guess I got, what is the cutoff before we can start blaming like our generation for stuff?
Well, we'd have to be represented. I think that may be the biggest thing. Just overall, how much of our demographic is out there to blame?
I mean, it's easy for us millennials or the Gen Z or here future, the Gen Alphas to be like, oh, these past generations, they ruined the world and we can't do anything. At what point do we have to take responsibility as millennials? Or I guess Gen X? I don't know. I'd like to see somebody other than the greatest generation actually serve in Congress.
Right. Yeah.
If we one can of just those... get that.
Just waiting for I don't know, tenure, whatever we can do. I think we messed up getting tenure. Actually, we were too vocal.
Oh, possibly. I could see that. The other thing that's on the menu today is we're getting a lot of questions about the Trust Act of Illinois, and that is the relationship between undocumented people, the police force on the local side, and of course the immigration enforcement. So it's a relationship that's there. We'll talk a little bit about the Trust Act and what are the local governments and local municipalities and local PDs able to do, not like willing. You know what I mean? Like at a certain point, the police officer has to make the choice of what they're able to do versus what they're willing to do as well. And there may be some crossover, or there may be something they're willing to do, but they're not able to do because of laws, or something they're not just able to do in general. So we'll talk a little bit about the Trust Act on that. But it is Tech Tuesday, so it's hard in this day and age to talk anything about AI, but we're going to try to bring in microchips and why GPUs are starting to get a little bit bigger and more valuable than CPUs. It used to be Intel. Now it's all NVIDIA. And where does the presidency lie in this? Is this another Colombian kerfluffle? I don't know. That was the name of my band at that one talent show. But when we come back after this, we will jump into some Tech Tuesday here on Apolitical Talk Show on WRMN, broadcasting live from the Illinois Media School, O'Hare campus.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who help people that have been injured or wronged. If you've been involved in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident, or injured at work, you have rights, and you may be entitled to money for your suffering. Don't accept an offer you get from an insurance company until you talk to a lawyer. And we represent some of the best personal injury lawyers you can find. Tough lawyers that will fight to win your case. And they're so good they stake their reputation on it by only getting paid if you win. So if you've been in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident, or hurt on the job, find out today for free what kind of compensation you may be entitled to. Call the legal helpline right now.
800-257-3148. 800-257-3148. 800-257-3148. That's 800-257-3148.
What's the best way to get rid of a timeshare that you don't want? Call the Timeshare Exit Hotline. We're a group of attorneys that help customers legally exit their timeshares. It's an easy process. We guarantee results or you pay nothing. Exit your timeshare today. Call now.
800-890-5957. 800-890-5957. That's 800-890-5957.
In the middle of the night, everything will be all right if you listen to Coast to Coast right here on WRMN 7 days a week from midnight to 5 a.m. Each night on Coast to Coast, listeners are captivated by George Newry with discussions on news and current events, conspiracy theories, UFOs, life after death, and all things curious and unexplained. Whether you're working third shift or you're just a night owl, catch the most listened to overnight talk radio program in North America, Coast to Coast, every night, midnight to 5 a.m. right here on WRMN AM 1410 and 96.7 FM.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough. But if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. The Alzheimer's Association provides care, support, and research to help you take control of the situation with your family and manage the disease together. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time-to-talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
America, and good day to our friends around the world. This is a political talk show. Welcome back. Welcome to WRMN. Whether you're watching on YouTube, listening on your smart device, those phones or those speakers, or you are taking the traditional route that has been there for over 75 years on the 1410 AM dial, we welcome you in. Welcome you into the conversation. We welcome you into the show. Thank you very much for being here. We're going to talk a little bit about some tech. This is Tech Tuesday. My name is Dennis Sonar Green, and I am joined with executive producer extraordinaire, Mr. Boquest over there. Thank you, sir. Running them ones and twos over here with me. We appreciate it. So let's jump right into it. The global events have brought artificial intelligence, financial markets, and geopolitical dynamics to the forefront of public and professional discourse. This is DeepSeek, a Chinese AI platform, the result of financial turbulence affecting NVIDIA and other tech stocks. And of course, we're going to talk about the U.S. government's response. Let's talk about DeepSeek. This was kind of the catalyst to the entire thing that happened with this. The DeepSeek is a new AI challenger. This is the AI that took the job of the AI. Which I think is what was the meme, Ben?
How about now? Yeah. ChatGPT got replaced by AI, and then the comment was, should have learned how to code. That's what I love about this story the most, is it kind of focuses on a team, doesn't it? Like a team coming together, maybe like the human aspect of working on AI, the labor.
Yeah, it was a much smaller team. I think they got away with only $10 million or so to do this, as opposed to like the $2 billion that OpenAI has been able to do it. Now, it is a Chinese-developed AI platform, so it is like speaking to the information that China will allow. So there are some things it doesn't talk about. It doesn't talk about certain islands. It doesn't talk about certain squares. There are certain things that it won't. It says is out of its scope of knowledge, I think is what it puts up.
Talk about the Gulf of Taiwan.
Yeah, the Gulf of Taiwan, exactly. So there are a few things with it. This is a cutting-edge GPT, and what those are, they are a generative prompt technologies. I got to figure them out. I know the G is generative, but it's essentially the AIs, and this is like the AI model of the OpenAI's GPT, the one I use quite often. That one is American based. It's also Sam Altman, who I think is going through like some sort of like personality crisis right now, because he went from like being this whole open source, we need to stop this, to like, oh, now I'm the big guy, we need to fund more. I think it was when the $500 billion investment, I think, kind of came around, or at least the United States promised to put it there. So DeepSeek is a strategic move for China, which has made AI a cornerstone of its national development plan. AI already works in China right now. I mean, you want to talk about the oppressive state or the nanny state or the surveillance state. Yeah, you need a lot of things to read that data. You can't necessarily rely on just human eyeballs and intuition. You use AI to kind of do that. Analysts suggest that DeepSeek's competitive pricing and robust features could disrupt the global AI market, which we watched it happen, especially in regions where cost constraints have limited AI adoption. However, potential remain about data privacy. There was a lot of people that downloaded it. Monday, I think it was in the top downloaded apps of the day or the whatever. It instantly jumped in all of the stores. So let's talk a little bit about NVIDIA before we get out of here. And before we get to the bottom of the hour, I want to get into the tech of Tech Tuesday. So why is NVIDIA the I guess the new Intel or the new Microsoft or the new, what is it? AMD, I think makes processors as well. So you have your CPU, which does a lot of the heavy lifting with your computer in general. And a CPU is kind of layered differently than a GPU, which is a graphics processing unit. So AI uses GPUs instead of CPUs primarily because of the significant difference in how the processors handle computational tasks. Parallel processing power is the biggest part of a GPU. When we talk about the speed of a processor, we turn around and say this processor has, I don't know, let's pick a good round number of 3 gigahertz. Pretty standard processor speed at this point, kind of the bottom end towards some of the turboing and things like that. But most consumer off-the-shelf stuff has that 3 gigahertz, at least to be able to boost it. Then you ever hear about the core processors and say, okay, well, it's got 4 cores or it's a dual core or what have you. Each core has 2 threads. I feel like that riddle, right, is as I was walking to St. Ives, I met a man with 7 wives. Each wife had 7 sacks. Each sack had 7 cats, kits, all that whole craziness. But stay with me a little bit with the processing. One processor has a speed. Then you've got cores, and let's say you have a 4-core or what they call a quad-core processor. That quad-core processor then has 2 threads per core. So it can do about 8 computation threads at one time at the speed of whatever the speed processor is. So it's kind of like, look at it as faucets. I've never been a plumber in my life, but I always try to look at the flow of electricity the same way. Look at it as 8 different doors, all shaped exactly the same. You can't let more in, more out. It only is the 3 gigahertz. So what do? Well, you open up more doors. You add more threads. You add more cores. That way, I don't have to manufacture a faster speed. I just have more doors that I can work with. I don't know if that kind of makes a little bit of sense, but that's where a GPU comes in. And a GPU can have a large speed, but it has multiple threads that it can do multiple computations across at the speed at whatever it is. While a CPU is more for the general computations of whatever the inner workings of the computer needs, like communication between the motherboard and the GPU, or the USBs or your monitors. So, but sometimes the monitor again, or mostly the monitor, is back to that GPU there. So that's where the difference comes in. And why do we pick NVIDIA? Well, NVIDIA is a GPU manufacturer who got a lot of boost for the CHIPS Act when that was passed. So we're starting to see really where this tech bubble that everybody was talking about, not sure if it burst, but it definitely showed a little bit of wear and tear on the bubble. And I don't know how much a bubble can actually sustain wear and tear. So that was essentially where, and without going deeper into how a GPU works, AI just needs a whole bunch of doors and a whole bunch of things all at the same time. Go ahead, Ben.
I was just saying 60, but yeah, it's interesting just the sheer amount of money that was, I guess, differentiated there. 500 billion?
Yeah, it was a 17% decline in the stock, equating to a loss of nearly 600 billion in market capitalization. So DeepSeek came out swinging, and I think a lot of it was the scare. It jumped right up into a mass buy and a sell and all of these other things. That's how volatile these weird numbers are that we all pretend are there and real. Where did the 600 billion go? I don't know. More Apolitical Talk Show after this.
With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Kernan. Brought to you by Progressive. The Kane County Division of Transportation will activate a new multi-way stop at the intersection of Burlington Road and Silver Glen Road in the village of Campton Hills on January 30th. The new stop, which includes an overhead flashing beacon, will go live at approximately 10 a.m. One person was seriously injured during a shooting at the McDonald's on Summit Street in Elgin on Sunday. Elgin police responding to the scene around 1:15 p.m. and found the victim, who was then transported to a nearby hospital. Initial reports suggest that the victim was talking to the assailant before the shooting occurred. Police have not released any further information. The Kane County Home Show was held in St. Charles over the weekend. The event, a staple for over a decade, drew a terrific crowd to the fairgrounds, helping attendees with information on remodeling, particularly focusing on kitchens, bathrooms, and energy-efficient upgrades like windows. More than 135 vendors were on hand to participate. With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Kernan.
Milo's Rewards Week is coming, and it's kind of a big deal. Members, get ready for 7 days of up to 40% off store-wide on hundreds of items. Save on the top brands in bath, tools, paint, and more. Our biggest member deals are on January 30th through February 5th. So if you're not a loyalty member, now's the time to join for free. Lowe's knows home improvement. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Progressive presents Renter's MVP's Most Valuable Possessions. Today's MVP, Emily Neal's 70-inch TV. Because after watching her second-grade students yell at each other for hours, there's nothing Emily enjoys more than watching super rich housewives also yell at each other. Why? Because those women are not her responsibility. And that's why her TV is today's MVP. Keep your most valuable possessions protected by bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
At Britain's Touchless Car Wash, they know life gets busy. That's why they're here 24/7 to keep your car looking spotless, fast, and easy. Their advanced brush-free wash technology delivers a sparkling clean without a single scratch, because they treat your car like it's their own. Here's the best part. Right now, you can get a free car wash just for joining their text club. It's simple. Just text BRITT to 30400, and your first wash is on them. Britain's Touchless Car Wash has 2 convenient locations, 1923 Larkin Avenue in Elgin and 555 Willow in West Dundee. They're proud to keep your car clean while giving back to our community. Text BRITT to 30400. That's BRITT to 30400. Now for your free car wash, and see why Britain's Touchless Car Wash is the fast, gentle, and reliable choice.
This is Sarah Silver with your Fox Valley forecast. Ice jam flooding advisory from late this week. This afternoon, sunny with a high near 48 and gusty winds up to 45 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear with a low around 31. Tomorrow, sunny with a high near 40. Currently, it is 44 with clear skies. I'm Sarah Silver on the Talk of the Town, WRMN.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time. The next time you're out to dinner with friends, you can order the shrimp cocktail for the table. And maybe you'll realize it only comes with 4 shrimp after you've already given away 3, but that one shrimp will be so good. And if you switch and save hundreds, you could get shrimp all the time. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For shrimp, Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Not getting you.
Oh, sorry. Welcome back to A Political Talk Show here on WRMN. Really appreciate you being here. Really appreciate you being a part of the show. I'm broadcasting live from the IMS Be On Air Media Network studio here in O'Hare, just downtown. You just take the highway down. If you want to come by, you want to take some classes, go to beonair.com and you will be able to see all of the different campuses, all of the different courses and different programs that are offered here at the Illinois Media School, part of the Be On Air Media Network. Great times to be over here. I teach night classes over here, so if you do want to be a part of our classes and what we do, then yeah, come and sit down. Love talking with anybody. Send us if you're looking at maybe coming by for an open house, send me a message. You can text us 505-926-1410. That's the WRMN text line, or sonar at WRMN1410.com. Ben's over there at Ben at WRMN1410.com as well. So we're going a little bit into some Technology Tuesday. And of course, we cannot have tech nowadays without the double letter AI. And this is where the stock market also was affected with this. We talked about the difference between GPUs and CPUs, and AI uses GPUs. And that is why NVIDIA, a U.S.-based technology giant specializing in graphics processing units, and of course that AI hardware to go along with it, is at the center of the financial and technological storm that just happened. NVIDIA's GPUs are integral to AI development, making the company a bellwether for the sector. Following the announcement of DeepSeek, NVIDIA's stock price suffered a dramatic 17% decline, equating to a loss of nearly $600 billion in market. This marked the largest one-day loss in market value for a U.S. company. How about that?
Sounds particularly fiat to me.
Yeah, that tells me that where was that 600 to begin with? I mean, we talk a lot about the meme coins and all of these other things, and I would like somebody to really explain the difference between this and Bitcoin, or, oh, well, the stock market is used for investing. The stock market is used for retirement. The stock market is used for dividends. The stock market, okay.
Where did it go? Yeah.
All of us that are playing in it play with 6%. That's it. All the stuff that we do that's not owned by some giant 10% of the wealthiest entities, not necessarily wealthiest people. We talk about BlackRock and Vanguard and all of the other words that I'm not allowed to say on YouTube, otherwise I get demonetized.
Too late.
But this was the market reaction, and it underscores the investor concerns about increased competition with China. My counter to this is, where are the other manufacturers of GPUs to make sure that we bolster and don't let one single U.S. company lose $600 billion in one shot. Should one single company own $600 billion on the side of anything? Name one other GPU company. I'm waiting. You can text it to me. Look it up if you have to. But this is my issue with it, is if we were truly the laissez-faire that everyone claims that we are, and not just, hey, I'm going to give all my money and all of the benefits and all of the support to one place, NVIDIA, and then see what goes on from there. Maybe we start diversifying on the people that can get us to Mars. You want to talk about privatization? Well, then let's privatize it and not monopolize it. That's my beef with this here. Now, we can make fun of the stock market all day because, again, just like Social Security, I'm probably not going to be a part of it. While DeepSeek poses a new challenge, NVIDIA ecosystem remains unparalleled, noted a report in the Wall Street Journal. Because it's the ecosystem that was built. Government gives money to NVIDIA. NVIDIA then uses it to for research and development, get a little bit better on things, and then government employees then buy stocks of NVIDIA, and then everybody wins, right? Well, hold on a second. Where did the money come from the first point? Oh, from you and me. Yeah. We invested in NVIDIA. Yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. I'll just wait for my dividends to come back down then.
Yeah. It's kind of like
I'm at the top of the list somewhere. Well, you know what? I'll be in the first 100,000. How about that?
My thought is kind of like when you go to get your car worked on or whatever, and then you look at the costs associated with labor. It's like, how could that be? How much that's costing? But yeah,
it's true. Well, here's the argument on that one, and I get a lot of contractors and people that say, "Hey, you're not paying for the 15 minutes that I took to do the thing. You're paying for the 15 years it taught me how to do this in 15 minutes." Mm-hmm. Which, okay, skilled labor, sure. I'll give it to you, but again, I'm not going to fault you for griping about it.
Yeah, it's the dichotomy though that you have. You know, you talk about how much money is spent, and the 6% of the stock market that normal people actually play with, mm-hmm. and then to think of how much did DeepSeek come away with out of this giant disruption? It's probably
I think they came back with quite a bit of the market share. I mean, of that 17%, I think some if not most of that went to DeepSeek, because this is based off of the market side of it, where it lost $600 billion in the entire market aspect.
I'm curious as to who on the team, how it got divvied up. All that stuff is.
Yeah, well, that would be where it would then diversified out. I would assume where that 600 million or 600 billion went. I don't believe it all went just out to DeepSeek. I think DeepSeek got some of that market share. I don't know the exact number of it right now. The only headlines that anybody's really putting out, especially because of how just large that number was just the 600 billion that's sitting there. I'm not entirely sure what DeepSeek is sitting at right now. I can look it up at the top of the hour. That'll help me save a little bit of face on my report here.
You can do that.
But the U.S. government was swift to respond with dual challenges posed by DeepSeek and the subsequent market volatility. President Trump's administration has emphasized the importance of maintaining America's leadership in AI. I think he's calling it Stargate, I think is the project he's trying to push for AI. President Trump referred to DeepSeek debut as a wake-up call for U.S. tech firms and announced an executive order aimed at bolstering AI development domestically. The executive order includes provisions for, here's what I mentioned in the beginning, the increased funding, the $500 billion private sector initiative to support AI research and development. So American people are investing into AI. I hope we get some dividends out of this, because that's what the stock market's for, right? Is for investments, for people to go out and get investments. I don't know. I'm still confused. Regulatory streamlining is part of the executive order. Simplified processes for companies working on AI projects to reduce bureaucratic barriers. So we're finally maybe getting a Department of AI or something along those lines, or at least AI is going to fall into one of these other regulatory departments, because we know how much people love regulations. International collaboration is the third prong of this executive order, and that is to strengthen partnership with allies to counterbalance China's growing influence in the AI space. So this is where the president has talking about the CHIPS Act, which I think he's going to do something with it. I think he's either going to diversify it out of Taiwan and maybe build more chips here, which I think is the best idea, to build chips here, or possibly use more AI hardware or more server space here in the United States. It's something that's easily put up. It could live out in the middle of nowhere, and you just pop a server out there and, I don't know, just cool it with burying it underground. I mean, it's that easy at this point now. But let's talk a little bit about the broader market in the last few minutes. It is 45 after the hour. The broader market context, the turbulence surrounding NVIDIA is reflective of the broader concerns in the financial markets anyway. Tech stocks, which have enjoyed a prolonged period of growth, are increasingly susceptible to geopolitical and technological disruptions, especially because a lot of these companies are on the cutting edge. And well, if they're passing new laws for the cutting edge, they are building new treaties, new trade, because AI is a global trade, because it is based off of cloud and the internet itself. There is no one real place that's there at it. So the downturn is the downturn has prompted some investors to reassess their portfolios. The rise of DeepSeek has introduced a new variable into the question, said analyst from Business Insider. While NVIDIA remains a strong player, the competitive landscape is shifting faster than anticipated. We're getting into this almost Moore's Law type of thing where AI is constantly compounding on itself, not just every 2 years, not just every year or so. It is now getting to the point where every 2 months, even then, OpenAI is releasing something, or we're getting another version of somebody else's side of Gronk or Cortana, or what does Google use? Gemini. There's so many people coming out with these narrow AIs that they're going to start to be competitive if there isn't any regulation on it. And we'll see if the laissez-faire side of it takes over, or at what level the regulation is going to stick. So interconnected impacts, the interplay of DeepSeek emergence, NVIDIA market performance, and the U.S. policy responses underscores the complex dynamics of today's globalized economy. This is how it's impacting. there's technological innovation. Obviously, DeepSeek introduction highlights at a rapid pace to go from something that took $2 billion that OpenAI took to do and moved into this space as a competitor of OpenAI and NVIDIA, and only costs a few $1 million. Now, I think it was double digits, at least for the million. This is the innovation side of things. It's getting cheaper to do this. Because of that, the financial markets, the stock market's reaction, people divested from NVIDIA and jumped over. Geopolitical strategy, the U.S. is now using these AI and the global power dynamics by prioritizing AI development in the aims to safeguard its technology leadership. So U.S. is leading in AI right now, or at least as we see Sam Altman or Elon Musk jumping that direction. But what this is also starting to see is some global collaboration. We're starting to see with DeepSeek being an open source, we're now able to kind of peek into what some of the industry standards are coming out to be now. So we can all look inside and see what is the engine is actually being generating. So that comes from The Guardian, Wall Street Journal, and of course Business Insider. They all have a few things that that came out earlier today about this in particular. So what do you think? Let us know. Either let us know in the comments. I see quite a few people in there already for YouTube. Let us know through an email. Hey, we learned something. I understand AI, or at least the NVIDIA type of side a little bit more. Or do you think that this is just the market readjusting? It could be that this is the emergence of that laissez-faire. I mean, that's what happens when monopolies go. They get the bubble, they get everything go, and then all of a sudden somebody else comes up and pops it. Is this innovation? Should we be sharing the global, or should we be sharing the AI space globally? 847-931-1410 if you want to give us a call, 847-931-1410, or give us one of them texts with your thumbs, or you can call that text line, 505-926-1410, to get into the side there. Ben, what do you think about this? Is this more of a correction of the market, or is this maybe we'll now see an open AI and or U.S. and China now fighting for that AI dominance?
It's interesting because, I mean, it is, as much as people want to push against, the global economy and all this type of narrative, it is what it is, especially when you're dealing with open source stuff. I mean, there's always going to be a recipe for apple pie. And that doesn't mean that Marie Callender's going out of business. You know, a lot of people are lazy. So really, at the end of the day, it is a correction. And it just goes to show that, there's more than one way to skin a cat. And, you really can't take the ingenuity out of what anybody wants to do. And it's kind of like a microcosm of small business, big business, all that kind of stuff. Like, obviously there's more control. The DeepSeek, I didn't see them get 500, however much money grant from the government. So, and they were able to pull this off. So it's just kind of, I don't know, nature. You want to say Darwin, there's still tadpoles. There's still the smaller ecosystems out there. So it's just kind of a microcosm of nature. So it was a correction. And it's just interesting. It just goes to show people, the technology's out there. So
would you rather have like how everybody kind of either uses Windows or Apple? Would you rather have like only maybe 2 or 3 major artificial intelligences, like maybe maybe like 2, 3 at the most? Or would you rather have like every single thing have its own? Like it's more of an open source, and I don't know. I don't have hundreds of them.
Right. Well, I think there's kind of no way to stop there from being the option of, having multiple giant, a giant market for it. But just the way that, the world works and everything, we probably will see the consolidation of all the smaller companies, just the way it goes. Antitrust is a relic of the past, apparently. So why wouldn't technology and AI just go the same direction as everyone else? It'll be a big 3 type of scenario, but you know what? Someone's out there if you want to make your own go-kart or whatever.
You've read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy to bring some more cool books into the fray here. Do you think DeepSeek is a nod to deep thought?
Ooh,
the artificial intelligence that was supposed to come up with the meaning of life.
Yeah, I didn't connect that, but it might be. It might just be 42, right?
Yeah, deep thought was created to calculate the answer to the universe, was created to calculate the answer to the universe, the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything. It just seems like it would be one of those, like that's the answer is 42, but what's the question?
Right.
Is the side of it.
Who asked?
I think is a neat concept of it. The same thing we want to talk about more AIs within Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. They had elevators that could predict the future, so that way you didn't have to push the button. The elevator already knew what floor you wanted to be on. I believe the other one was Marvin, was the robot from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy as well, who knew so much that he was constantly depressed because of how much knowledge was in his head.
Ignorance.
There were, I believe, tanks that had AI to them as well. So there was a bunch of different robots. Also, there were doors that sighed when you opened them to make you feel more relaxed. Kind of like you were walking through a yawn.
I like it.
Fun books, Douglas Adams. If you ever get a chance to read some of them, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is a great place to start. If you are more into the detective type of things, Dirk Gently still has that same kind of, what would they say, je ne sais quoi of Douglas Adams. But from a, what does he call him? Like a coincidence detective or something along those lines. It's a great read, wonderful author. Are going to add it to our books of our reading list and on to Ben's Substack as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, got to write that one up.
When we come back from the top of the hour news, we're going to talk a little bit about the Trust Act of Illinois, and also we will jump into talking about the news. Call us up. If you've got something to talk about, was there something that you listened to or heard about somewhere else over the air on a different show? Did you read something cool? Was there an article that you'd like us to jump and dive a little bit into? But we will talk a little bit about the Trust Act here in Illinois. It was enacted in 2017. A lot of the same things that are happening now happened back then. So I could see why everybody's kind of reinforcing the fact that this thing's here. Multiple other states have things like the Trust Act, but we're only going to talk about Illinois and the Trust Act here, again, enacted in 2017 to establish those clear boundaries between local law enforcement agencies and federal immigration authorities. You're listening to Apolitical Talk Show. We will be right back after the top of the hour news.
Are you ready to take your brand to the next level? Image 360 South Elgin is your ultimate destination for custom signs and visual communication solutions. Looking to rebrand your office interior? Need striking vehicle wraps or decals for your fleet? Or perhaps you're in the market for a standout trade show display. At Image 360 South Elgin, they've got you covered. As your full-service custom sign and graphics partner, they deliver bold solutions and exceptional support. From outdoor signage to eye-catching store signs, indoor graphics to comprehensive branding solutions, they have the experience to elevate your brand's presence. Trust Image 360 to create a long-term partnership that gives your brand 360 degrees of exposure. Visit them at 506 Sundown Road in South Elgin. Image 360 South Elgin. Bold solutions, exceptional support.
Your hometown radio station since 1949. We are WRMN AM 1410 Elgin time, 5 o'clock.
This is WRMN News.
Hello, I'm Dennis Green. DeepSeek skyrocketed to the top of U.S. App Store charts Monday. It required only a handful of developers and a tiny fraction of the cost of American AI technology. A lot of investors worry the new competitor could render American AI obsolete before it even gets rolling. Dev Nag, former Google engineer and AI startup CEO, tells News Nation,
"The great thing about America is that we always rise to the occasion. We always have before. I think we will here as well. This is the great catalyst for us to really unify and push forward. I think Stargate happened at the exact right time, and projects like that, large commitments of talent and capital to go win the AI race, I think are going to be necessary for us in the future. I think it's a race that we're going to win."
The Stargate project is a push announced by President Trump to make the U.S. a leader in AI, with plans to invest up to $500 billion. President Trump says the tech industry crashing is a wake-up call for U.S. tech giants. Speaking of tech giants, Google said they will change the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America in Google Maps. News Nation's Nick Smith reports.
Google says you should expect to see Mount McKinley and the Gulf of America on its maps within the next month. The tech giant says as soon as the federal government drops Denali from the country's tallest mountain and Gulf of Mexico from the map, it will be reflected on Google Maps. President Trump signed an executive order on Inauguration Day ordering those name changes within 30 days. Those edits to help the map would need to be made official by the Interior Department.
People in other countries will see both names displayed on the map. Google says they have a long-standing practice of applying name changes when they have been updated in official government sources.
WRMN News, produced in Studio 14 by the River Media Network.
From the pages of the Elgin newspapers of 100 years ago today, these are the headlines brought to you by the Elgin History Museum.
I'm Nick Freeman, and here's what was happening 100 years ago today. Special feature. Wesley Berry, famous child movie star, is filming scenes for his new movie here in Elgin and provides this account. If you happen to see an old automobile of the vintage of 1909 this afternoon careening about the downtown streets of Elgin with a red-headed and freckled youth grabbing levers and trying to keep the darn thing going straight, and if you wondered who that little ding-busted reckless fool driver was, well, please don't worry any more about it, for it was only yours truly doing his stuff. You see, folks, we're making a big picture, my hometown, and I'm the young hero. The courier asked me if I would write a little about myself in the picture, so I'm just knocking out these few words, and I'll have more for you tomorrow. You see, my work is something like newspaper work anyway, for both the papers and the pictures are educational and entertaining. Well, I've got to get back to the wheel of that old bus and then have some night scenes taken, so I'll say so long for now.
Elgin 100 Years Ago is a presentation of the Elgin History Museum. Be sure to visit the museum located at 360 Park Street in Elgin, open Wednesday through Saturdays 11 to 4. You can also listen to Elgin 100 Years Ago at www.elginhistory.org.
This is Sarah Silver with your Fox Valley forecast. Ice jam flooding advisory from late this week. This afternoon, sunny with a high near 48 and gusty winds up to 45 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear with a low around 31. Tomorrow, sunny with a high near 40. Currently, it is 44 with clear skies. I'm Sarah Silver on the Talk of the Town, WRMN.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time. The next time you're out to dinner with friends, you can order the shrimp cocktail for the table. And maybe you'll realize it only comes with 4 shrimp after you've already given away 3, but that one shrimp will be so good. And if you switch and save hundreds, you could get shrimp all the time. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For shrimp, Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Retirement can be scary, but only if you're not prepared. That's why AARP created thisispretirement.org. Because unless you've already retired, you're in pretirement, and you still have time to plan. Learn about retirement savings options, potential tax breaks, and how you can build savings over time. Visit thisispretirement.org for free resources to help you customize your action plan and feel the retirement fear disappear. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
When I never graduated from high school, I realized I wanted to go back to school because I didn't want to work these back-breaking jobs the rest of my life. With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed to come back to school. I felt accomplished, made me feel that I could take on whatever challenges life throws at you.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
America, and good day to our friends around the world. Welcome to a political talk show here on WRMN. I am broadcasting live from O'Hare, the campus of O'Hare of Illinois Broadcasting School, part of the Be On Air Media Network. Go to beonair.com to find out more and all of the different ways that you can come enjoy the campus and see some of the great facilities that are over here. Feel free to reach out to me. I'll set up a meeting with you and come and see you. Come and see the classrooms, come and see this studio. They're getting all revamped, all kinds of different things happening over here at the O'Hare campus. I guess you could go to the Chicago campus if that's closer to you, but come on. You want to come see me over here. Anyway, welcome in. My name is Dennis Sonar Green. I am the host of A Political Talk Show, but I cannot do it without my esteemed executive producer, Ben Demonium Boquest, running the ones and twos over there and jumping into the conversation. Thank you, sir, for being here.
Hey, always a pleasure. Tech Tuesday.
That's it, Tech Tuesday. If you did miss the first hour, that's when we got into that technological talk, and that is we broke down NVIDIA, CPUs, GPUs, DeepSeek. We got into the U.S. policy for things, how threads and cores and computation all goes in, super tech heavy, with a little bit of a monetary twist into it. Hope you enjoy it when you rewatch it on YouTube. There's some good stuff. Rewatch it. It's part of this stream right now, so if you think that something that I'm saying is boring, go ahead and fast forward it back the other direction. You might find something a little bit different. Or if you ever miss anything here on WRMN, you can go to YouTube and find WRMN Radio right there, and you will be able to see past broadcasts and those very important episodes and interviews. So not only Marky B, but also my handy dandy producer over here was like, we're getting a lot of this stuff now with the city and a few other people that are all talking about what can local law enforcement do in Illinois. This isn't necessarily, why isn't anybody doing this, or why can't they just arrest them and then send them here or do all of this? There are laws in place. And so what we're going to break down a little bit is the Trust Act. If we don't get into anything else or any other topics, we may break down actual rights of undocumented immigrants here and what rights that they have within Illinois. We may end up breaking into that. If you've got something that you want to talk about, feel free to drop it into the line, 505-926-1410 for text messages, or if you want to give us a call, 847-931-1410, 847-931-1410. I only say that number about 6,000 times a week. Why shouldn't I remember that number?
Yeah. It's got the 1410 right in there, too.
Hey, right? It baked right in. I only got to remember a couple of them.
Love it.
I only got to remember like 16 numbers, right? It's not so bad. 1410's part of them. Anyway, let's jump into the Illinois Trust Act. And trust me, it is not an acronym. I searched high and low. It isn't. It's trust, as in like, trust me, bro. Or any of the other ways that you might use trust fall. This is the Trust Act. Enacted in 2017 that establishes clear boundaries between local law enforcement agencies and federal immigration authorities. Its primary objective is to foster trust between immigrant communities and local law enforcement by ensuring that individuals are not detained solely based on their immigration status. So that's it. Everything else that I'm going to be explaining out of here takes it from that approach. The issue with being here without any documentation, or being here, honestly, I won't beat around the bush, not being here legally, is the fact that you at any point can be apprehended and then put on a plane or a bus or a train or even military aircraft and sent to whatever country that you came from originally, or whatever your citizenship is. And that's just part of it. So what happens when there's a domestic dispute? What happens when there is a traffic violation? What happens when there's a robbery? Not in the fact that I was robbed by somebody who's here illegally, that I'm here illegally and somebody mugged me. I am now at risk when I ask for help that somebody's going to put handcuffs on me and send me away. And now whether or not that you think that is right, not right, otherwise, the Trust Act is here for that reason. It is here for people who need help in an emergency situation from law enforcement to then have that trust with them that they're not then going to turn around and ask immediately about their immigration status and immediately call up anybody to come with them to a place. And they will not give the location of such, right? If I'm a witness to a crime, whether it's the crime against me or something that happened down the street, wouldn't you want somebody who was a witness to come forward and give their information and possibly be a witness for the testimony purposes? Yeah, well, somebody has to collect their information. And to have the undocumented status next to your name and then have that directory then go directly to the immigration side of it, well, now, if I was here illegally, why would I come forward? Why would I volunteer? Why would I contribute that information at my own risk? Why would I ask for help at my own risk? Why would I? You see where the side of it's coming. So the key provisions of the Trust Act, first off, are the prohibition of, no longer detaining requests. Local law enforcement officials are prohibited from detaining or continuing to detain an individual solely on the basis of immigration. That's it. If they're done with the investigation, if they are done with the cooperation, if they have been released under whatever 24-hour holding or interrogation or whatever else, they cannot hold somebody specifically for their immigration status. Yes, it is illegal, and we had a complete conversation with that yesterday, and I'm sure we'll have more of them. But it is not locally illegal. It is federally that direction, and that's where the federal government will come in and take their side of it. This means that without a judicial warrant or probable cause of criminal offense, local authorities cannot hold individuals for immigration and custom enforcement. When we start talking about the Lake and Riley Act, that might change here soon. They may be able to detain people indefinitely. There's nothing in the Lake and Riley Act that says they now have to follow those protocols. Now, then we throw in the sovereignty of states back into the 10th Amendment, and the cycle of judicial process continues. The other key component or key provision is the limitation on immigration enforcement participation. The Trust Act restricts local law enforcement from participating in federal immigration enforcement operations. So I got the question of, when ICE shows up to the school, why weren't the police there to help them usher that warrant and everything else? This is why. The Trust Act prevents local law enforcement for joint operations when it comes to specific custom side. Specifically, officers cannot stop, arrest, search, or detain individuals based on their immigration status or an administrative warrant entered into the Federal Bureau of Investigation's National Crime Information Center database. So they need to have probable cause or a warrant like anyone else. They cannot just be detained for there. And there's some rationale behind it, and we kind of got into it for that in that beginning side. The Trust Act was designed to enhance public safety by encouraging cooperation between immigrant communities and local law enforcement. By limiting the role of local authorities in federal immigration matters, the law aims to ensure that immigrants feel safe reporting crimes and assisting investigations without fear of deportation. This approach seeks to build trust, ensuring that community members are more likely to engage with law enforcement when necessary. And that is an explanation from the ACLU of Illinois. So that is part of why the 14th Amendment, the immigration status of people, the sovereignty of states are all going to once again come into play. And it's a messy situation because it is so nuanced. It isn't a cut and dry type of thing, or I guess a wet and dry type of thing. It's either is or not. You can't get more wet, right? Once you're wet, done. It just isn't. There isn't a be here, don't be here. When we talked yesterday about immigration, the real question that kept coming up was time. Everybody's got a story about a person who has been here for a while, double-digit years type of while. We all know somebody like that. You might be fortunate enough to know two. But we all know somebody like that. And to turn around and say, well, you know what, you're not supposed to be here. If you truly believe that, find that person that you know and tell them that. If you truly believe that they're not supposed to be here, but you can't, because you're going to turn around and you're going to come up with something. Well, they've been here long enough. They've got kids. Oh, they pay taxes. They do this. Yes. So now imagine if we all know somebody like that, and we all don't want to tell that person that thing. Why would you tell my somebody that? Would you let me come over to your friend and tell them that they're not supposed to be here? Why, when we paint this, well, they're one of the good ones. When we all paint, they're one of the good ones. Don't we see that the majority is the good ones? I talked about my neighbor, and I'm glad that I didn't bring up his name. But my friend is now at the point where he doesn't think that he can go and pick up his granddaughter anymore from school. He has been here legally, by the way, for the last 25 years. But because of everything that's going on, of the literal profiling, you could deny it if you'd like, but it's there. We all know it is. Because of the literal profiling, he can't commit to pick up his granddaughter anymore because he doesn't know if on the way over, he's not going to get stopped. So he can't say definitively, yes, I will be there. I will be there for my granddaughter because I'm a good grandpa. And that's because, it's not because he's not here legally. He is. It's because he does not want to be profiled in that way and therefore let a child that he is responsible for stay in the cold waiting to be picked up. This is the nuance. This right here is the specific circumstances that many, many people here legally, here not legally, are going through right now. And when you are asked to show empathy towards them, show empathy towards them. I'm going to get off my soapbox a little bit, Ben. But this is what the Trust Act is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be building that trust between local law enforcement that will be here day in and day out to protect the community and somebody who comes from the federal government just to swoop in and take somebody. Now, by all means, both are doing their jobs the way that they are intended to be done. But the Trust Act allows that trust between the local side without interfering. That's the other side of it, is it's not an interference. Not cooperating is not an interference. Not handing over is not interference. And that's where I think the difference really is. There's a lot of people that don't like that, Ben.
Yeah, it's definitely, again, a point of contention where it's like one of those things where if it's not explained to people, it's just it's seemingly nonsensical on its face. And actually, just to promote the station a little bit, Marky B will be talking with somebody tomorrow.
Oh, we're talking with Cheryl Hines, right?
No, somebody. I didn't get the name exactly, but someone affiliated with either this, I believe it's the State Department. Just keep your ear to the ground. Watch tomorrow's show. Should give us some good guests and conversation starting at 6 a.m.
Sheriff Hain. He put it into the calendar for us. The first shift is going to have Kane County Sheriff Ron Hain is going to be coming on and talking with Marky B. It's going to be a great time. I believe 8:30. 8:30 is when he's coming on, along with Elliot. Elliot will be in there tomorrow.
All right. Love it.
So all the good times that are there, but you're right. You're back to it. So I might send him my list of rights that that undocumented people have within Illinois.
Yeah.
So may look at that. So stay tuned for the first shift in the morning, starting at 6. But Kane County Sheriff Ron Hain will be on at 8:30. So lots of good things that are happening here at the station here on WRMN. One of the ones that I am excited about are the White Sox.
Yes.
Man, I can't wait to get some of them games rolling.
Yes. Yeah, we're going to be the official home for the Fox River Valley, that is.
Fox River Valley's official home of the Chicago White Sox. It's going to be great. You're going to be able to hear many, many games, lots of them, as many as we can fit in to the WRMN schedule. Do not fret, do not fear, do not frown. The regular programming that will be preempted by these games will be continued on YouTube. So we'll still be doing the shows. We'll still be pumping them through. I think we're still going to be doing a political talk show, mostly because, Ben, I've got a few other stations that might be interested in our little show here.
Hey, we got stuff going on. We're moving and shaking.
It's true. We might be on some other stations, especially when we connected with Elliot, with CPT, and a few other places over there. I look forward to watching a lot of baseball this year. I'm not the biggest fan of watching it on the television. I don't like too many sports that I can take a nap in the middle of and wake up and the only thing that's changed is the inning. But, golf is almost the exact same way.
I love the chess. A 1-0 game can have so much action and fun in it. I'm the baseball purist to where I could watch those 0-1 11-inning games, and it's not the most fun, but there.
You want to see a pitching game versus a hitting game?
No, definitely would rather see a crazy home runs and small ball, but a pitching duel can have just as good at bats and action. Really,
a pitching game I would much rather watch at home. If I go to the place, you better be knocking them out of the park.
Sure, yeah.
If I go home, I'll watch that rectangle and where all the balls and everything hit. I'll watch that. That's way cooler. Yeah. I can't see that rectangle when I go to the field.
Yeah, but another point, though, if you've ever been close to seeing a perfect game or a no-hitter live, there's no better atmosphere. That's one of the coolest things.
Really? I would imagine it would be the other direction.
Well, it's until the 5th inning. You're like, wow, this game is boring. And then it's like, oh, it's the 5th inning, and no one's got a hit yet. So then you start gaining excitement towards the 9th inning.
Okay. I can see that. I've obviously never been to a no-hitter before. I think I've maybe been to like 5 baseball games ever in my life. Other than the ones like you play in like coach pitch or T-ball.
Yep. Oh, Nick Johnston is commenting. He says, "No, sorry, Sonar. I've been to a no-hitter. It's the best thing on earth." I wonder
best thing on earth.
Yeah, I wonder which no-hitter.
I could believe that.
Was it Zambrano or was it one of the Sox guys? It was probably one of the Sox guys. I would think Burley or the guy. Didn't somebody do it last year for the Sox?
Oh, I don't know.
They were just talking about it.
See, that's what I mean. It's back to baseball was invented before the first picture of the moon.
There you go.
But I used to do when we worked for ESPN, who was Mark Knutson was our program director, which was pretty cool. Played for Milwaukee, the pitcher for that.
Sounds familiar.
And I had a bit where I put baseball is older than.
Nice.
Yeah. Baseball's actually older than our concept of single-celled organisms and germs and stuff. When baseball was invented, nobody washed their hands.
Older than the amoeba, you're saying?
Yeah, oh yeah, it's old. It's an old one. Baseball, I believe, is older than television, obviously. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff that baseball is older than. But the craziest one for me is the first picture of the moon. Like, we had baseball before we could even take a picture and film the moon.
Sliced bread.
Yeah, that and just nobody washed their hands. They didn't know. They didn't know that germs existed.
Vinegar.
They knew baseball existed. Thanks for listening to Apolitical Talk Show. We'll be back after the bottom of the hour news. You might hear me. You might hear Marky B. I think you'll hear Marky B and Sarah Silver giving you the weather. We'll be right back after this.
With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Kernan. Brought to you by Progressive. Elgin residents should be aware that the Elgin Police Department's information desk is being remodeled starting this week. The remodeling will take several months, and during that time, operations will be moved to the records window on the south side of the lobby, and residents should be prepared for a longer wait time. A new demographic study in Kane County has noted a shift. Birth rates have fallen, mirroring national trends, while deaths spiked in 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Marriage licenses after the pandemic took a dip but have since rebounded, but civil unions remain low. If you're interested in learning more about sustainability, the city of Naperville is teaming up with the Conservation Foundation for a series of workshops Wednesday mornings, March 5th to the 19th at the Municipal Center. The series will give you tools and resources to help you integrate native plants into your landscaping. With your 1410 WRMN News Flash, I'm Sean Kernan.
Milo's Rewards Week is coming, and it's kind of a big deal. Members, get ready for 7 days of up to 40% off store-wide on hundreds of items. Save on the top brands in bath, tools, paint, and more. Our biggest member deals are on January 30th through February 5th. So if you're not a loyalty member, now's the time to join for free. Lowe's knows home improvement. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Progressive presents Renters MVP's Most Valuable Possessions. Today's MVP, Emily Neal's 70-inch TV. Because after watching her second-grade students yell at each other for hours, there's nothing Emily enjoys more than watching super rich housewives also yell at each other. Why? Because those women are not her responsibility. And that's why her TV is today's MVP. Keep your most valuable possessions protected by bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Let me tell you a story about Bill. Bill was a normal guy in his 50s. He had back surgery about 2 years ago. Bill was in a lot of pain. He dealt with his pain by taking the Percocets his doctor prescribed for him. Bill took more and more and more of them to help with the pain, until one day the prescriptions weren't enough to get rid of Bill's pain. Then one day Bill found someone to help him get rid of the pain with illegal drugs he didn't need a prescription for. Fast forward to today. Bill lost his job and his family. The only thing he does have is his drug dealer. If you know Bill's story and you don't want to end up like Bill, call the Detox and Treatment Helpline right now to get away and get treatment.
800-694-1127. 800-694-1127. 800-694-1127. Call right now. Help is standing by. 800-694-1127.
This is Sarah Silver with your Fox Valley forecast. An ice jam flooding advisory is in effect from late Thursday into Friday. Tonight, mostly clear with a low around 31 and gusty winds up to 35 miles per hour. Tomorrow, sunny with a high near 40. Currently, it is 42 degrees with clear skies. I'm Sarah Silver on the Talk of the Town, WRMN.
If you love designer brands and you love clearance, then you're going to love this. Macy's is having a huge designer clearance event right now with incredible new designer markdowns on cold weather styles from BCBG, Hugo Boss, Michael Kors, and more. How big are the markdowns? How about Coach boots for $200 or less? So if you're looking for the things you love all in one place, come in and shop the designer clearance event at Macy's today. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Welcome back to A Political Talk Show. It's the last couple minutes. It is 34 past the hour when we normally come back from the bottom of the hour break. We've only got about 24 minutes left in today's show. I want to thank you for being here with us. I want to thank you for being a part of the show. Those of you that jumped in on the chat over there to defend, of course, baseball's honor. The no-hitter that Mr. Johnston went to was the Carlos Rodon's no-hitter in 2021. Was that the one you were referring to there, Ben? Yeah. He was there. He was at that game. I could imagine it being there.
Yeah. Yeah, I
guess the only no-hitters that I've been to have been like Little League games. And then that, of course, that is just like me. Nobody
Still
really
impressive.
got any hits. We just all get to go home with our juice boxes and eat pizza.
Yeah. Well, that's still a feat. I mean, getting a no-hitter, even if it's against snot-nosed kids. I went to...
Yeah, it's more of a no-hit because, like, nobody had no skills.
Exactly.
Everybody just got...
My experience with no-hitters is I went one time. Now, Cubs fans will remember this time. It was, I want to say it was like 2011 or 12. The day before Carlos Zambrano threw his no-hitter up in Milwaukee, Ted Lilly took a no-hitter into the 7th inning in Milwaukee. And I was there for that game. So interesting. And still haven't seen one, though. So a little fun out there. And we actually have a caller, Sonar.
Let's go. Hello, caller. Welcome aboard.
Hey, buddy, what's going on?
Nothing too much, man. What are you up to? What would you like to talk about today?
Dutchman.
Well, it's not Open Line Friday, is it? What are you talking about no-hitters? The only thing I have never seen a no-hitter, but I on TV, other than, every time I went to a Cubs game, it was a, no-win game, in the cellar. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
No, I get that. I think I've only been to one game at Wrigley. I got a couple pictures of it, but at the end of the day, I was absolutely happy I wasn't buying the beer. It was, I think, the best part of the day.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like to talk about, friend?
Well, I'm a big nut when it comes to the environment, and I don't know if this will be. But here's the thing. I've been reading different papers and getting kind of the gist of what's going on out there. And I know enough because that's where I grew up. I was born there. So, look, there's a lot of people that are trying to dump on President Trump for being what he said on TV. And they're getting, his words are getting turned around or minced or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The bottom line is I know the way L.A. works. I lived in L.A. County for all my life up until I moved out here. And the people that run L.A. County are basically corrupt, a lot of them. And I'm not just saying this has been proven.
Just always, or just this recent bunch? Are they just always corrupt, like we assume Chicago or New York is? Or are you talking particularly about this group of people that are in right now?
Well, 25, 30 years ago. I'm going
30 years ago, they were corrupt.
When I was, I don't want to say the Republicans, here's the thing. When the Republicans are running it, it wasn't as bad.
Okay.
Even when Ronald Reagan was there. Now, until you got Arnold Schwarzenegger, because Arnold Schwarzenegger was tied to the Kennedys. And so a lot of stuff what he did was let's say, I don't want to say it was anti-environmentalist, but he didn't allow things to be done that needed to be done. We all knew this was going to happen eventually. I can tell you this from my own experience. Before I left the Forest Service and came out here, we were doing controlled burns in the middle of the winter. They kept the crews on all the time. Half of them get laid off normally at the end of summer, which is usually November. All right, so that was one problem that they had out there. The second thing, the water shortage. It used to be they had water in spots out there, but you were talking about when you remember before with the flooding in North Carolina. Okay. Mm-hmm. The issue is building. Now, I haven't done that for most of my life. I can tell you that there's building codes and restrictions all over the country that should be there. There's a reason why there's codes. Now, some of them get
codes, sure, but should there be restrictions? There's codes, sure, but should there be restrictions on where? And it seems like a lot of this issue here is a where issue. Now, code, maybe they should have made it out of cinder block or something like that, but I think this is more of a where issue, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And the problem is now, because you've all probably been to Lake Geneva, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yes. Very deep.
Okay, so they have that walking path that goes around the lake. So that back half, a lot of houses, a lot of lake property up there in a lot of the lakes, like Delavan and Arrowhead and stuff, they have an issue where you basically have to leave the first 100 feet from the water up, open land for designated for, that area for that, whatever, subdivision. And when it comes down to it, same idea as Lake Geneva. When I see people building houses, rebuilding houses all the time, especially on the peninsula out there in the Carolinas, where they have all those houses out there that every time there's a hurricane, they get wiped out and then they rebuild again. There needs to be a moratorium. Fire season is everywhere all the time in California, and they, for some reason, can't get it through their head. You don't want to put your houses there. But, somewhere common sense was lost, and that's my problem. Politics, and then on top of it, I don't know how the environmentalists couldn't see this coming. It's a tragic thing. Is that we're all going to be paying for. That's the thing.
Well, where do we go?
We're all going to be paying for it.
Where do we go back? Like, where's the line that we need to walk back to? Is it where everything was sprawled out 30 years ago and now we can't go any further out? Did we cross that line before the 80s? Was it something we need to go back maybe to the 60s and say, look, this is all the livable space, because otherwise you're going to end up burning down? Where should we draw the geological map? At what year should we say, look, this is all the further that L.A. or any of the other surrounding suburbs should be?
Isn't just that, though. See, New York, L.A., all the people that Michigan, they all have these lakefront properties. Okay, so you hear, how many times you hear somebody say, well, the water levels are rising. Why did you build your house on a lakefront in the first place? And same thing here in Hawaii. Their house is overhanging the cliff. And I ended up going to a place I was staying overnight in Hilo, and their back here of the house is getting ready to fall in the water by like about 2 feet, because the waves pounded enough to take the walls up, and they can't afford to fix it. So, and that's a lot of places out here on the islands. It's not just here, but every time I see somebody building right off a cliff because they want that picturesque, and it's always a millionaire or billionaire, and then they want to blame everybody in the sun when their house burns up or falls off a cliff. Well, for one, you got to be an idiot to build something there. there's got to be a stop. But see, again, money talks. You know,
Yeah.
I got a fire truck going by.
Well, what about
Anyway.
so let's, instead of walking backwards, instead of going back on the map and saying don't go here anymore, then let's put a different stipulation on it. Because, I mean, we're all about solving problems here on Apolitical Talk Show. What if it was a law that if you lost your home to a natural disaster a certain amount of times within 10 years, you are ineligible for any government assistance? That if you lost your home twice within 10 years for building in that location, you don't get a third chance.
Yeah, I agree with that. But here's the problem with L.A.
Okay.
I think more than half those people didn't have fire insurance on it because of what happened, because all the insurance companies pulled out. So there you
See,
go.
now, is that them turning around and saying, I don't want this fire insurance, or was that somebody turning around the insurance company saying, well, there's going to be a fire soon, so we're just going to, not cover it?
That was the insurance companies. They
My
pulled
goodness.
out. If you look at a lot of people, a lot of insurance companies in California have pulled out of California a number of reasons, but especially in fire-prone areas. And I worked up there. My station got burned over twice. I know. Yeah, I mean, and
well, what kind of world are we going to get to, Dutch? Are we going to get to the point where Florida can't have hurricane insurance or health insurance? California can't have fire insurance. We can't get snow insurance or northeaster insurance for the for New England. Is this what we're going to get to? Is to the point where the insurance companies just say, yeah, you know what? Stuff happens. Just give us money. Why would we insure a thing that is going to happen? Why don't I insure things like meteorites or gnomes coming out of the ground and taking over? I'd much rather insure those things that aren't going to happen.
You know what? I agree with you 100%. But it's how you do the logistics and how you make set one aside and do it different than the rest of them. That's the other thing. And it can be done, but it takes a lot of work, a lot of time with a lot of people that know what the heck they're doing in that industry, and it's got to be done differently in each place. So, I mean, it is.
Let me ask you another question now, since I've got you here. Let me ask you another one, buddy. Because of the natural disasters and everything else, this is kind of the train of thought that I'm working with here. Is there's been a lot of call that California doesn't deserve this help. There's been a lot of people that said that. One of our least favorite senators, Tuberville, specifically said that. California is one of the only states that actually feeds in to the federal government. If the federal government decides that they're not going to give them any of that FEMA money, should California just say, okay, we'll just keep our money then?
Well, here's the thing. A lot of people say that about money being put into the coffers, but they're also the biggest abuser of whatever they get. So, I mean, I know this just from family and friends and growing up there until 86 I came out here. I'll tell you this. I as much as Pritzker is, I don't hate him. I think he does a halfway decent job. I love this state of Illinois. I love the state of Illinois because it's green. All the forest preserves, everybody here that has anything to do with the environment was doing the job that it's supposed to. Is it perfect? No. And that's why this is where the public needs to step up. I complain about it, but I've also done my time on the board member and stuff, and I let somebody else run it for a while because, I figured I'd share the load. If people complain about it, if we had more people like me that have great ideas, and like you guys, or Marky B, I know he's there, functioned with Elgin. It's what we need. We need somebody of knowledge, somebody that knows something, boots on the ground. And I'm always talking about that. If you've got knowledge of whatever it is that we're talking about, then go help somebody. Don't sit on your butt. Do something, because it's time. It's time to shake the tree and get some stuff going. That's in my opinion.
We're going to hit a quick break here. Thank you very much, Mr. Dutchman, for being here with us. We really appreciate you coming on board.
Love you guys, and thanks very much for letting me on. And Dennis and everybody in the morning, guys, and God bless you guys. I'm glad you guys are doing it and letting me do this. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Thanks for being. Thanks for contributing, man. I really appreciate it every time. More Apolitical Talk Show. We'll be right back.
When it comes to real estate, you want the best. Choose RE/MAX, the #1 name in real estate. Located at 113 West Oak Knoll Drive in Hampshire, Illinois, RE/MAX leads the industry in brand awareness and provides comprehensive services, residential, commercial, leasing, and investment solutions, all tailored to your needs. With innovative marketing and cutting-edge tools, RE/MAX helps you find your dream property or sell faster. At RE/MAX, they take a client-centered approach, offering personalized strategies to achieve your real estate goals. Ready to get started? Call them today at 847-683-9200. That's 847-683-9200. Or visit their website at ildealmakers.com to begin your journey. RE/MAX Dealmakers, making real estate simple and successful.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
I'll trust water bottles and a flashlight to save the day, but I'll be proved wrong.
With a tornado approaching, I'll realize that I lack a wheelchair-accessible shelter.
When the floodwaters rise, I'll be up in the attic with 20 cans of beans. It's a recipe for disaster.
let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Searching for a financial partner that truly has your best interest at heart? Join KCT Credit Union, where they're more than just a bank. They're a not-for-profit financial cooperative. KCT members are owners, meaning profits go back to you in the form of lower loan rates, higher savings rates, and fewer fees. Experience personalized service that puts you first. Become a part of KCT, where your financial well-being is their top priority. Visit kctcu.org. Each account insured up to $250,000 by member's choice. This institution is not federally insured.
Get ready for Around the House every Saturday night from 5 to 7 p.m. on WRMN AM 1410. If you're a homeowner or contractor looking to tackle those projects that feel a bit too big, this is the show for you. Join Eric along with his knowledgeable guests as they dive deep into everything from DIY renovations to creating a healthy home environment. We'll provide you with the tools and tips you need to complete your projects with confidence and ease. But it's not all work and no play. We believe in having fun. Our passion for home improvement shines through as we help you save time, money, and reduce the stress of DIY. So whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, don't miss Around the House. Tune in every Saturday night and let's tackle those home projects together.
Hello and welcome back to Apolitical Talk Show on WRMN. That's WRMN 1410 and WRMN1410.com. On the AM dial, it's that 1410 when you twist it and it shows up. Or if you go right to 1400, if you got one of those analog dials, the one that's got the little needle you got to move, you go right to 14. and then you go just like a little tiny turn, just enough. You know, back in the day where you got the knob and you just had to like touch the end of it, just enough to make sure that the capacitor and that inductor that's in there make the right 1410 AM side of it. And sometimes it wasn't right on 1410. You might have to move it a little off to the side because the sticker or something had moved over. That's the real tuning, right? You ever put your ear up to the radio and twist the knob like you're cracking a safe to try to get the best quality out of that AM side of it? Time-honored tradition here, continuing here on A Political Talk Show. The time-honored tradition of yelling at our radios about the government. That's, of course, what we're all doing today. A federal judge has temporarily blocked the Trump administration's freeze on federal grants and loans. Hooray! All of the people that were looking for, I don't know, Medicare or WIC. There's food stamps, I think, is already galvanized into law, and a couple other things. And some of the state level things stayed there. So like Illinois with the chips and a few other stuff. Reportedly, all of the departments are supposed to report to President Trump's administration by Friday about all of the grants and loans and everything else that they kind of need, want, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that's where this memo came in. But a federal judge in Washington has temporarily blocked the Trump administration from enforcing a new directive to halt payments of federal grants, loans, and other assistance to an array of programs across the country. So for some reason, we're getting a lot of these I didn't read the Constitution type of things that are happening. A lot of like, well, we're going to do that. And it's like, well, that's against the Constitution. As well, it's my order. That's what I'm going to do. What are you going to do? Sue me and take me to the Supreme Court? Yes. Like, what? Why do you want me to answer that? And so that's what we're running into with a lot of this. Why do I bring up grants and things like that? Well, Article 1 in the Constitution gives Congress the purse strings. Whether or not they do a good job on it, well, that's up to Congress and people who continuously vote for a do-nothing Congress. That's us. That's not the president to turn around and be like, well, you know what? I know you voted for that. I know you put it together. I know that it took a whole bunch of people, hundreds, in fact, if not thousands, to figure out exactly how to do this. Well, me and my ideas, I'm going to unilaterally say you can't do that. That doesn't seem like a check or a balance to me. That seems like I don't want to do it. I don't like what you did, so I'm just going to say no.
Yeah.
Well, that's not much of a... It may be a check. It may be like, no, but it's not a balance of any sort. If you could just arbitrarily say, yeah, you know what, this thing that I'm going to fund here and do that. When at the same token, you can just pass a bill that gives, I don't know, an entirely different department a new prerogative because you can't make Doge, because you can't make the Department of Government Efficiency. You take another department and put in Doge into that department. I see where you're playing by the rules, but why aren't you playing by the rules on this one? Is it because you want the rules to be changed? I'm not sure. So luckily, a federal judge blocked this freeze because there have been a lot of Meals on Wheels, food banks, community clinics, a lot of people that were like, my goodness, how long would anything be frozen? We've got all of these different bills that need to be paid in all of these different services. Say again with that? Thanks a lot for being here, everybody. We really appreciate you being here on the show today. We'll have some more news tomorrow. I'm working on a word of a government that we haven't spoken about before, but got real close to talking about. I'm trying to get an actual professor, an economic professor, or a poli-sci professor. It's taken me a little bit of time to find an academic, Benjamin. It's just taken too much. But either way, we'll have a word for you mañana. And don't forget, tomorrow on the first shift, we've got Sheriff Hine coming in at 8:30. Elliot will be in too. See you then.
A loved one owns a gun. And for a while now, you've been concerned about